a gazillion times out on the news and, just on social media and just talking with loved ones, because, sometimes we hear about these scams that people fall victim to, and we wonder how on earth did that even happen. And it's so easy. Approximately 70% of seniors, I'm just going to move that, sorry. We've got approximately 70% of seniors now using technology in order to stay in touch with family and, go shopping online and staying connected with friends. There's so many things that they're using technology for now, that the people who are looking to prey on seniors or anybody using a line, they are advancing very quickly because they're seeing all the different ways that we are using technology now. This is not allowing me to advance through my slide. There we go. Okay. So as of February 28th, just in 2021, and only in Canada, we already had over 11,000 fraud reports. We've had over 7,000 victims that have actually come forward. We had 41,000 that came forward in 2020, and over $34 million in fraud that has been lost. Just in 2021, over $100 million in 2020. That is an alarming number. And really, when you think about it, not everybody even reports that they've been frauded for a couple of reasons. Sometimes they're embarrassed, but oftentimes they don't even know, because the fraudsters are so incredibly believable that sometimes they just think that they've done what they were supposed to do. They paid these people the money that they asked for, and they don't even know that they've been extorted. But one of the things to keep in mind is not everything is as what it seems, and particularly online, because we, as humans, and we're social, when we talk to people, we have an innate things, and the thing that our gut to say, oh my gosh, I think that this isn't what it seems. But online, because everything is either in text or, and it could even be in chatting, or it can even be in Zoom or video like this, but you can't as easily read the cues. So you have to really be careful. There are so many online tricks that the fraudsters play. They make all kinds of promises and they get you to part with your cash. But it's increasing at an exponential rate. So we really have to be careful that we're reading the signs and really paying attention. Lucky for us as humans, the vast majority of people are honest. Not everybody is a criminal, but the criminals are very, very savvy. So we're going to talk about that. It's constantly evolving. So the fraudsters and cyber criminals, they're trying to scam you. They're continually coming up with new ways. And what they're looking for is ways to get you to part with your money or even your personal data. They can take your money from you, and it's a one-time or maybe even an ongoing thing. But if they get you to part with your personal data, they can then use your identity. And just, as one of our little trivia questions there, if they steal your identity, they can do all kinds of damage. So those are the things that you really want to be careful of. The most common scams are through email, phone, and internet, because those are the ways that now we are accessing all kinds of different ways online. So we're going to start with talking about email. So email scams come in various forms. We all joke about the Nigerian prince scam that happened, and that's been about maybe 12 or 15 years old already. It was one of the earlier email scams, and it's still going today. And the reason it's still going today is that it is incredibly successful. They make people believe that they are a Nigerian prince or a princess or somebody. They have all this wealth, they're stuck in prison, or their country, is keeping them locked up, and they need money to get out, and they've got all this money and it's in a bank account and they can't access it, and they just need your help to move the money into your bank account, and then you can just give it to them when they get out of prison, or you can pay for them to get out of prison. The story goes in several different ways. If ever you get an email of anybody saying, I am so and so and I have money locked up and I need your help to get it out, it's a scam. No matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, it's a scam. There is no real thing like that. You'll also get emails telling you that your accounts need some attention. So your billing information or your bank accounts will be frozen. You'll have they'll send you emails telling you you've been guaranteed accepted for a credit card. Lottery scams. Phishing is actually what this is. They're trying to get your information. They'll tell you that you've got an overpayment. Just click here. We're going to send you the money back. They're asking for charitable donations. They're promising free vacations. Those are the types of things. But when you look at these emails, there are a lot of clues that you can pick up about these emails to really know, because they are so savvy that they can make these emails look so incredibly legitimate, except that most of the time, and this isn't a slight on any different races or nationalities or anything like that, but most of the time, the people that are perpetrating these crimes are not necessarily English is not necessarily their first language. So they will use translators and things which are not always 100%. And so then the translations don't come out perfect. And as you can see where I've got the circle there, your account has been suspended as an error was detected in your informations. So right away, you can know that this probably is not a legitimate email. These companies, these major corporations like PayPal and Amazon and your banks, they actually have a team of people who really go through their public relations material to make sure that the language is impeccable. So there will never be spelling mistakes and grammatical errors and those types of things. So that can be your very first clue that this is probably not from PayPal. And then they build in the urgency. We've suspended your account temporarily. So it makes you go, because as humans, we don't want we don't want to have our account suspended. We don't want to feel like we've done something wrong, and we don't want to feel like we can't access things. So they build in this urgency to take away your ability to actually look at all these little things of incorrect spelling, improper grammar, that kind of stuff, because you're suddenly in this urgency of, oh my goodness, I have to fix this. So they count on that. Here's another example of, you are currently made disabled of. This obviously is not really clear grammar. It's not clear English. So another example of, this probably wasn't written by PayPal's public communications people. And then, if they've managed to fool you with the bad spelling and the poor grammar and initiate that fear for you, they give you this nice little button. Just click here and give us all of your information. So never, never, never click there. Here's another example. So, hi, dear. I can't ever imagine anybody in Netflix or from Netflix even allowing an email like this to be sent out. Hi, dear. So this is another indication that this is probably not coming from Netflix. But in the meantime, you may want to update your payment details. This is also not language that Netflix would use. And if they manage to fool you with all of that, just click here and give us all your information. Never click there. So one of the other things they'll do is they make this look legitimate by saying, oh, do you need help? We're here, we can help you. Just click here to contact us or help center. Because we do hear about these scams and we go, yeah, maybe I shouldn't click there. Oh, but look, they've got a help button and they've got a contact us button. So this must be legitimate. However, those help center and contact us buttons, they will take you to a fake website. It won't take you to the Netflix website. So you don't want to click there. So after all of that, if you're still not sure, that click here button that they provide you with will have, when you hover over it, and if you don't click it, just hover over it with your mouse, the email address will actually show. It might take a second for it to pop up, so be a little patient, let it pop up, and you'll see what it says. Most of these major corporations own the domain name of .com or .ca. So Netflix owns netflix.com, Amazon owns amazon.com and amazon.ca, and their links, their website will never have anything like Amazon123abc.com. It'll never be any extra characters between their name and the .com. So if you see any emails and you're just not sure if that link actually goes to a real website or the website that you're expecting it to go to, just hover over. If you see any other characters besides the name of that company, don't click that link. That's one of the things that most people don't think to do, is just hover over the link that they've provided to see actually what it says. But don't be intimidated by that. If it's all these long characters, numbers and letters and digits and things like that, just don't click it. Okay. So to remember, these are the things that you're going to remember. Never open attachments unless it's from somebody that you're expecting it to come from. If it's a specific person. If it's somebody that you know, but you're still not sure and you were not expecting it, just pick up the phone and ask them. Just call them and say, did you send me something? If they say no, don't open it. Just trash it. Never respond to anybody posing as somebody from another country or they needed to get out of prison. No. And so no bank, no financial institution, Canada Revenue, or any other institution, none of them will contact you by email to ask you to verify accounts. That'll never, never, never happen. The only time you will ever have to verify an account by email is when you are actually setting up that account right then. So if you're starting for the very first time setting up online banking, for example, it's going to send you an email, because it has to send you an email so that it recognizes you. The only thing in the world that we all have that is absolutely unique to us is our email address, because we all have other people with the same name. In fact, as Kim Wilson, oh my goodness, there's probably 4 billion Kim Wilsons on the planet. And it's pretty hard for even me to have an email address without having a bunch of extra numbers and letters to create that. But it's because that is our one unique identifier. So whenever we set up an account anywhere, it asks us for our email address, because that's the only way that they can ensure that it's us and not the other Kim Wilson and the other Kim Wilson and the one down the street. So that'll be the only time that they need to verify your email address, is when you're setting up a brand new account. They'll send you an email. You have to click on the link to go back to verify your email address. And then at that moment, it will have you log back into that account that you've just set up. After that, and never again, you will never be asked to verify your email address. Unless, again, if you set up a new account somewhere else. So if you set up online banking and then you want to go set up Amazon and then you want to go set up Netflix, each one of those will ask you to verify your email. But after that, never ever again. So if anything comes to you, any sort of financial institution or Canada Revenue Agency or anything like that, never click on the link if you're not expecting that. Charitable foundations may email you. But mostly you'll get scammers emailing you posing as charitable foundations. If you're not sure that it really is that charitable foundation, just go right to their website. Just open your browser, type in their name, and go directly to their legitimate website. Never click anything through the email. If you're still not sure, go to their website and find their customer service number and give them a call. I always advocate going still through the old-fashioned way. Just pick up the phone and call them. That's how we verified things years ago. So we shouldn't be afraid of the phone. One of the things that we forget is all these devices that we're talking about, most of us are talking about a phone. We're using smartphones, but we forget that it's actually still a telephone. And so we don't pick it up and call people. So since we're using telephones and smart devices, now they've moved from only email scams, and now they've gone on to text message scams. And they're a little bit newer, so they become, they seem a little daunting at first when we get them, because we're conditioned to hearing, oh, there's email scams all the time. And we forget that text messaging isn't really much different than emailing. It's just a little more real time. So the scammers have also found their way into our text messages. They will text you with the same sort of urgency. Oh, your bank account has been frozen and you need to do something right away. Click here. And our natural instinct is, oh my gosh, I got to fix this. I can't have my bank account frozen. And so we click it and you transfer our personal information to them. Same thing, you'll get some charities asking for donations. One of the other really big scams that has become incredibly successful of late is someone pretending to be your grandchild or someone who knows your loved one or grandchild and they need financial help. So this is where they target the seniors, because seniors, we love our grandchildren and we just want to help them. So what they do is they'll call you or they'll text you. And even if they call you, they will say, oh, hi, Grandma, do you know who this is? Instead of saying, hi, Grandma, it's Jenny, your granddaughter, because they actually don't know if you have a granddaughter or a grandson. So they will call you and say, hi, Grandma, do you know who this is? And Grandma will say, oh, is it you, Jenny? Yes, it's Jenny. So then they've got the name of the granddaughter you love, and they will play on that. Grandma, I need some money. Maybe I'm being held hostage, or my car is broke down. I have a flat tire. There's all kinds of things that they will get you to pay for, or help your granddaughter Jenny with financial support. And they so they don't even know if you had a grandchild, but that's how they play on it. They will get that in transfer or in each to transfer that money over to them. Now, if they use the I've been kidnapped sort of scenario, then they play that out even longer, and they have strung some people along for a long time, with them thinking that their grandchild has been kidnapped. So some of the text messages might look like this. Dear Walmart shopper, your purchase last month won a $1,000 Walmart card. Just click here. But see, they build the urgency in. You've got within 24 hours to claim. Or urgent, your grandson was arrested last night in Mexico. He needs bail money. Quickly go to the Western Union and give us $9,500. It takes away that ability for you to stop and go, wait, this can't be right. Because now you're so frantic that you need to help your grandson that you'll go and do what they've asked you to do. Here's another really good one. Hey, hello, mate. Your FedEx package with a tracking code of this is waiting for you. Even if you know you weren't expecting anything, our innate human nature wants us to get a package. We love to get packages. We love to get mail. We just love those things. And forever and always, we like to go check the mail to see if we got anything new. And so they build this in because they know that our human nature wants to receive a package. One of the keys here and the clue is hello, mate. I don't know anybody who has ever had a FedEx person speak to them that way and refer to you as mate. So these are the types of things that you want to look for to really recognize whether or not that is actually a legitimate text. So these are the things to remember. Never respond to text messages from unknown numbers. As soon as you respond, they know that that is an active number and they will continue to send you messages. Just like email, reputable institutes will never, never, never text you and tell you your account is locked or deactivated. Never. Never believe a text message saying you have a grandchild in need of financial help or for their life or they've been kidnapped. That's not happening. And never tap a link in any text message, not for any reason. There's no reason. We never, never, never get text messages with links that you need to tap. So then the next big step is the internet scams. So these, and even though while, when we talk about email and we talk about text messages, we really are on the internet. But the internet that I'm talking about is really when we're using browsers. And so we're surfing the internet or we're using social media or any of those. They've become very adept at making things seem legitimate. So they will target you through social media platforms, whether we're using Facebook, Instagram, any social media platform, they are looking at those and trying to find ways to exploit people. Any of the websites that allow two-way communication also, like Messenger, WhatsApp, Skype, all of those apps that allow you to chat or do video calls. Then there's the shopping websites and the pop-up advertisements. Some of you may have already seen these where it'll pop up and tell you that you've got a virus or you need some tech support and they're offering their services to you. So this is one of them. This will pop up right on your screen and tell you that your computer is infected and you need to do something right away. And so because we always hear about viruses and how damaging they are to our computers, they instantly build in that fear, especially when you might be a newer user or you've never really experienced a virus before. The fear of that creates that urgency of, oh my gosh, I have to do something. So these pop-ups really build that fear in. And then you call the number and they say, oh, no problem, we can fix that for you. And just, I'm going to send you a request for you to let me access your computer. And all they do is they come in, they access your computer and they turn this off. And they tell you that they have now fixed your computer, it's fine. And just give us your credit card number. We're going to bill you for $500. It's that kind of thing. And, earlier when I spoke about the number of frauds that are being reported, while that number seems alarmingly high, it actually is even higher because not everybody reports it. Several years ago, I had my stepfather tell me that, oh, he had problems with his computer, but it's okay now. I was helping him actually after my mom passed, I was helping him to pay his bills. And I saw this charge on his credit card for $500. And I asked him what this was. Oh, I had to pay this company to fix my computer. So I knew right then that he had been scammed and he had no idea. So of course it wasn't reported, and he's not part of that count because nobody knew. But it's so easy for them to just take this money like this, and then they're gone in the wind, and nobody is even the wiser. The person thinks that this kind person on the other end of the phone fixed their computer, when in fact all this was a pop-up. Some of them are programmed to take over your browser. It'll take over and change the default opening page to this. So every time you open your browser, you get this, and you think for sure your computer is infected, when all it is a landing page. So the way you can really identify whether sites are safe or not is to look at the address bar. This little lock here is what they call SSL encryption. And when this lock shows up and it's locked, then more than likely that site is a legitimate and safe and secure site. So particularly with sites that you're using to do online shopping or anything like that, where you're actually going to input some personal information like your address and your credit card and stuff like that. If you don't see this lock, don't put information in those websites. Even if you don't see this lock, sometimes you'll actually get a message that pops up that says your connection is not private. And that means that that lock is not enabled. This is not an SSL encrypted website. So, you can still visit that website if you wanted to, but I would not advise putting any sort of information in. So if it's a site that's like a shopping site or anything like that where you would have to put information in, I would suggest not putting information into that website. So then also on social media, one of the ways that they find out a bunch of your information to actually steal your identity is, remember these games? Send me a number. So your friend will post this, send me a number, and you send them a number and they'll tell you whatever the answer is to the question associated to that number. This is one of the greatest inventions for the fraudsters to find out information. Think about the ways people choose passwords. A lot of them choose passwords based on something they'll remember. And what is it that they remember? The personal stuff. They remember your middle name. They remember birth dates. They remember their dog's name. There's all these different things that they use. How about this? This is, what's your first job? What's your current job? What's your favorite food and your favorite dog? And all of these things are all ways that any of these fraudsters, if they're watching, this is the greatest way for them to learn about you. This is how they have conversations with you. So if they connect with you through some sort of chat medium, they're going to know all this personal information about you. And that's how they get you to trust. And they start to have conversations and they work all of this into the conversation, and you'll be like, oh, hey, yeah, that's my favorite ice cream also. Oh, look at how much we have in common. And we begin to trust other people when we feel like we have this commonality and some connection. So if your friends are posting this stuff on social media, don't play. Don't play along. It's kind of interesting sometimes and fun to learn these things about your friend. But guess what? So are the fraudsters. They're learning these things about your friend. And if you play, then they're learning these things about you as well. This is another one. Comment with your middle name, but leave the vowels out. Everyone can guess your middle name. Well, now you've just told everybody what your middle name is. So now the fraudsters go, oh, okay, so that's Kimberly Ann Wilson. And if I were to comment to this with and leave out the vowels of my middle name, I'm going to say NN. Everybody can figure it out. Everybody can figure out my middle name is Ann. So you might have a great, unusual middle name, and maybe we can't figure it out without the vowels. But the average Canadian, I'll say, has Anne and Lynn and Marie. So, you know, the fraudsters know, and if they can't figure it out, then they move on to the next one that they can figure out. So don't give this information away freely. And then there's the people that reach out to you by chat. And, you know, I'm just going to say there's been a lot of people who have met the love of their life online. In fact, and I'm going to confess, I met my husband online. We've been together for 19 years this year. We were one of the very first early adopters of the online dating. But you have to be very careful. I'm not against online dating because it's very hard for us to meet people anymore. We live in such a different world now, and particularly in COVID time, where we're just at home and we're on screen time, and so I'm not against online dating. I really can't stress enough, though, that you have to be so very careful. So when people are reaching out to you and speaking to you about online dating or trying to get to know you, pay attention to the cues. If they're too affectionate too quickly, that's usually a sign that they are not who they are presenting to be. You know, if they want to take you from one chat medium over to some other communication method, don't go there. Stay in maybe even something a little more public. And if they ever say, I'm really falling for you, and those types of things, if they start calling you honey and darling and baby and saying, I love you right away, run. These are the people that are looking. What they're looking for is they're looking to find out, are you the person that's going to fall for this? Are you the person that really, you know, is lonely, looking for some sort of connection? And if you're lonely, if they start calling you baby and love and sweetheart and I love you and all of those things, it makes us feel good. As human beings, we just want to be loved and appreciated. And when we feel that connection, we sometimes make bad decisions, and that's what they're hoping for. They're looking for that person who is going to fall for that and make the bad decisions, and ultimately it will eventually lead into asking for money. Okay, so they'll talk to you, and then they'll say there will be reasons. So they'll start to say they're going to come and see you. They want to see you. They want to be with you. But oh my goodness, my money is tied up. Can you just send me the money? And you know, as soon as my money is free, I'll give it back to you. That never happens. That never happens. So if they for any reason ask for money, run. They are not who they say they are. Do not ever give money. So these are the things to remember. Social media is the easiest way for scammers to get your personal information because we play those games. Pop-up ads are only ever intended to sell you something or to get you to give up your personal information. The romantic pressure, if they're too affectionate, it's not genuine. And any lotteries or contests that promise big prizes, they're usually not legitimate. They'll try to create that urgency. Take that moment to step back and think about that. Is it real? Because if it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. We used to follow our gut before we got online. We used to use that saying all the time. If it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And like David spoke about the frauds happening in the 70s, we probably still had that phrase back then. If it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So stick with that. Never forget that. That doesn't change from decade to decade. So the steps that you can take for email: don't open attachments or links unless you're absolutely sure. Don't respond to emails from anyone you don't recognize. If you respond, it's the same as your phone with a text message. If you respond, they know that they've got a live active account, and then they will continue to send you stuff. Don't sign up for website accounts if you don't need to. Sometimes you'll go to websites and they'll say, oh, if you even want to browse, just sign up for an account. And the minute you sign up for an account, they've got your information. They start to send you marketing material and stuff, and they sell your information to other companies who want to send you marketing material. So phone, like I said, don't reply to text messages from strangers. If you receive a call from someone pretending to be someone, don't give them the name or feed them the information. So if they call and say, hi, Grandma, you know who this is? You can say, no, actually, who is it? That can be your very first reaction. And then they are forced to give you something. And if they don't give you the right name, well, then you already know that that's not your granddaughter, Jenny. Okay. Online, don't give out personal information on social media. Don't click on links or pop-ups. Don't sign up for accounts or unknown websites. Don't fall for romance. When you do sign up for legitimate sites. So this is another thing I'm going to talk about next when we talk about passwords. When you sign up for legitimate websites, your browser will ask you, do you want it to save the password? You're going to say yes. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Shopping online. When you shop online, always choose PayPal as your payment method. And the reason for that is if that vendor, whoever you're shopping and buying from, does not send you your merchandise, you actually have some recourse. You can go back to PayPal and you can file a claim with PayPal, and PayPal will almost always reimburse you if you did not receive your product. So PayPal is always the safest way. And most legitimate shopping websites offer that as an option, a payment option. So always choose the PayPal payment option. Oh, my little mouse cursor didn't want to do anything. Okay, so passwords. Never give out your password, not to anybody. Keep them in a safe place. Use password saving apps. So now we've got all these smart devices and stuff. There are tons of apps. There are some really good apps that will save your passwords for you. So you can put in the URL of whatever website it is that you've signed up for and your password. And that way you can go in, if you've forgotten your password, you can go into the app and look it up, or you can actually go into the app. You can click on the URL and it will take you directly to that website's web address. So that way you also know that you're going to the legitimate website. So again, if you had an email and it was Amazon or something telling you that your account is frozen, you could go into that app that saves your passwords and you could click on the Amazon account email address, and it'll take you to the legitimate one, and you can find out if your account actually has been frozen. My guess is it won't be. You should use safe passwords, strong passwords, not birthdays, pet names, or anything that can be guessed. So to save your password, when you sign up for an account, you're going to see this little box that pops up on your browser. And a lot of people ignore this and they go, oh, no, I don't want this thing to save my password. But you actually do. Because once you save this, then the browser knows that you've signed up to this website. That way, if you ever get tricked in your email and you do click on a link, if it goes somewhere to Amazon or wherever and asks you for your password, you can go, wait a minute, I told it to remember my password. This must not be the same website. Then you could go into your browser, go to the Amazon website, and it'll remember your password. So that's a really good clue that you're not at the right website if you've told your browser to remember the password for the account that you've signed up for. If your browser doesn't automatically ask you for that, you can turn it on. It's up in the corner where that little square is, and then down to the little gear that for options, and then over to privacy and securities, and then you'll see forms and passwords, and you can click that box. And from that moment forward, anytime that you set up an account in any website on that browser, you'll be able to have it save that password, so that you'll always be able to safely go back to that website and know that that's the legitimate one. And that's the information I have for you, and I'm going to open it up for